okay? He was very, very close to his mother. Very close. And so when he comes back, it's very important. You are not having a good time. It's very important. So he feels all of that energy, and so he needed just a little bit of time away. That is why he's not able to be here right at this moment. Does that answer your question?
No. When did his parents pass away?
The wizardess of follow-through is not a very good listener, is she? Who is the wizard or wizardess of listening?
3 years ago.
Oh, you're answering her question. I was like, 3 years ago? Whose name 3 years ago? I don't understand that at all. And it's weird when the other wizard doesn't understand something, because then you know there's a little cray-cray going. Oh, thank you. Oh, gracious. Now I have two. Oh, that's a very nice walking stick. Oh, that'll come in handy. Very nice, thank you. Is there any other questions that only the smartest and the most humble of all creatures on the planet, based on university studies, can answer?
How were you born?
How was I born?
Exactly.
Oh my gracious. This is a young wizard in the making right here. Like, I have a question for you, young man. How do you transfer your knowledge to these adults? You seem to have much more wisdom at your age. How old are you? 8. Huh. Interesting. So why don't you teach all of these how to ask better questions? What's that? You like them?
I like that.
All right then.
All right then. So you're going to teach them all? Maybe. I don't need another stick. That one's for a little, that's for a dwarf wizard or something. That's really amazing. All right. I'm sensing some energy here. What energy am I thinking?
Alan's.
Is it? I'm sensing Alan.
Yeah, Alan's energy.
No, you can't. What's wrong with you, boy? Get going with it.
He gets you. Maybe Nancy's too.
Nancy! Often the quietest have the most to say. When you ask them, the quietest, the most wisest, what they have to say, what do they often say?
Nothing.
Nothing! Yes, you are a wizardess too. Like, how do you know? Like, people are amazed. They're like, it is true. These university studies are true. He is the smartest and the most humblest of all creatures. So often when you ask the quietest, who often has the most to say, what to say, they often don't say anything. Now CPAs, on the other hand, oh my gracious, they are smart. Are you a CPA by any chance, sir? I know, it's amazing. Like, how do I know these things? Like, how does the wizard know this stuff? So, what wisdom do you have for us today, Mr. CPA?
Listening.
Listening. Oh. None of them are listening.
What are you listening for?
Wisdom,
Why?
because I need it.
You're obviously not a white male over 50, because if you were a white male over 50, you would never say something like that. Where do you gain your amazing wisdom from, sir?
Maybe from Latin America.
Latin America! I have been there many times. I have gained much wisdom and insight. Excuse me. Oh, you have to be careful, my friend. You will cut your hand. The wizard could heal a cut, but would he?
Nope.
No, he would not, because that would then cause you not to learn a valuable lesson. Oh, thank you. No, I only put toads in my pouch, and if I put this in with the toads, then they're going to go ahead and cut their whole legs off. You don't want that to happen, but it's a good idea. You have a kind heart.
Hey, let's see if we can find something.
Oh no, we must be focused. We must be focused, very
I
focused.
want something to turn into a toad.
That might be your grandma. Or your mother.
Oh, really?
What other wisdom, Mr. CPA, do you have for us today?
No, I don't have anything else right now.
Uh-huh. He's from Latin America. So when he has this super wisdom, he doesn't want to share it with anybody else. There must be something you have down inside there that you're hiding from us.
I haven't realized it yet.
You haven't realized it. Oh my gracious, he's humble too. That's scary. See, you can't really give something away that you first don't have. No, you cannot interrupt, little one. I know you are but a little wizard, but you cannot. You want me to bonk you? Yes, I must bonk you.
Lily, ask the wizard if he likes coffee.
You have a question for the wizard?
Say, do you like coffee? Ask the wizard if he likes coffee.
Itchy, 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 itchy! Ah! It's itchy, 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 itchy! Coffee is bad! Bad, 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 bad coffee! It like messes with your brain. It makes you not become a wizard or wizardess.
Did you have coffee today then?
No, of course not. I could not perform at this high level that I perform at if I drank even one drop of coffee. Yes, my friend. What's your question? Yes. Why am I old? Oh, I get it. I understand now. Is your mother and father a Christian? They're not? Oh, okay. See, a lot of times, that's your ring? See, a lot of times, they must not be Christians because Christians kind of teach their children not to be honest. And it's true that you are honest because you ask why I'm old. But I am not old. I'm actually younger than you. Does that make sense? Yeah, absolutely it does. I get it. See, some of the adults in the room are not understanding this.
What's your biggest challenge?
Oh my gracious. Are you the wizard of the biggest challenge? I've been looking for you for years! Where have you been? You're in Virginia. Oh, okay, that makes sense. I was thinking you were somewhere else, but now that I know you're in Virginia, that makes all the sense in the world. Why do you ask people their biggest challenge? Because what?
That's what I'm supposed to do.
You're supposed to do. Oh, I get it. They teach you that in school.
No, but other people do that.
Other people?
Yeah, I like to do it in the summer.
Why do you ask people their biggest challenge?
Because our maybe ask.
Oh, but why do you ask people their biggest challenge?
Because I feel like
Oh. Did you ask Mr. Jorge his biggest challenge? Yes. Do you remember what it is? No. Sometimes it's hard to remember those things. And so it's like a name. So as soon as you get somebody's biggest challenge, you want to find out, you want to burn it into your mental memory to make sure that you never forget it. Because if you remember their biggest challenge and you help them, see, a lot of people say they care, but they're just talk. They don't really care, they're just saying they care. But when you find out somebody's biggest challenge and you remember their biggest challenge, just,
I remember Aunt Sue.
yeah, yeah. So what you want to do is you want to go ahead and remember.
So what is your biggest challenge?
Someone would like. Like me.
My biggest challenge is that my best friend doesn't care about anybody anymore. He doesn't care about his wife or his kids or even his grandkids.
Or even you?
He doesn't care about anything. He just cares. He cares at 0%. And it's weird because he's finding that people care less than he does. Like, how do you care less than 0%? Not yet. There might be a couple. So, Mr. Allen, what would you say? Do you have a question for the wizard today?
How can you be younger than Daddy?
Nice question. Have you read the Quantum Thinking?
Yes.
Are you trying to trick everyone else?
Yes.
Did it work? Can you be my servant? Now that's a great question. Of course you can be my servant. Yes, I want you. Really? We need to answer some other questions. As one of my many servants, you need to be careful not to interrupt and not to go ahead and take over the conversation unless you have a better question to ask. So there's a question right now on the table. How can I be younger? How can I be younger than my young servant? Does anyone know the answer to that?
Because you're younger, older, and the same age.
Did we all hear that?
Yes.
How is that possible?
On a quantum level.
Ah, she's a wizardess. If somebody ever doesn't understand you, what do you say? I visited the wizard and I learned something. And that was when you don't understand me, the reason you don't understand me is because you're not thinking at a quantum level. And you may be totally confused and have no idea what you're talking about either. It's okay though, because you visited the wizard in person.
There was a spider call.
Okay, well let's keep focused. Let's keep focused. Focus is important. My best friend has a friend over in China, and he is like 70 or something, and he hangs out with a lot of Chinese. Oh, ice! I love ice. Yeah, be careful not to choke. And he hangs around a lot of Chinese individuals that are in their 20s, and he said to all of them, he said, "I am younger than all of you." And he's 70, and they're in their 20s. My best friend, he understood immediately what he was saying, because he thinks at a quantum level, and that is so much of what we think is age, like it's age, it's years on this planet, but it can be in how we think. It's very hard to think. I know, I'm gone. It's very hard to think like these young ones think. They think at a quantum level until they go into school or until their parents tell them not to ask questions like, why are you old? I mean, that's an honest question, but we can't ask the question because I don't know why. Because there's rules. See, we all live by rules that are imposed on us. And as we get older, we start to recognize that we may not have to live by those same rules. And so there's some rules if you don't live by them, you die. No, thank you. Thanks for sharing, though. And so much of it is in one's mind. And as we get older, we tend to get lazy, it seems. And so it takes a lot more work. It takes a lot more work to go ahead and think through things. It takes a lot more work to understand things because you spend 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years coming to a conclusion that, that's, I know, you're an active little wizardess. Yes. We should do remind the wizard to do a business sense from Everyday Moms. Does that answer your question? Nancy, the quiet, wise one. We will see if the wizard was able to prophesy this one or not. So, what questions do you have for the wizard today?
So what is going on in Lillian's head?
Lily's head. Again, I'm glad you're sitting down. You all learned from the past time that you can stand up if you want. You'll be ready for the awesomeness of the wizard. Are you all ready for the smartest and question is, what's going on in Liliana's head? A lot.
Wow.
I know, it's like people are cynical about the wizard. They're like, there's no way that he could go ahead and be the smartest and the most humble. I mean, think about that. Think about how smart you are. Multiply that times 1 billion times. And then go ahead and think about how little humility you have. Okay, thank you. Oh no, you have it. It's for you.
Mr. Wizard,
Yes.
I have a question.
Yes.
So, can you turn somebody here into a toad right now?
I could.
Would you
This
go ahead
guy,
and do it,
this
please?
girl.
This girl. Throw somebody else's mom under the bus.
I make him, because he's stand up.
Why me? And why do you ask this question?
Because my best friend Danny inspired it.
So Daniel, how do you have these magical powers over adults to get them to do what you want them to do and get them to say what you want them to say? You don't know the answer to that question? All right. Well, I tell you what, when you go ahead and find the answer to that question, then the wizard will turn somebody into a toad. Is that fair enough? I know. Me too. Yeah. Two people in the toad. Okay. All right, the wizard feels that he must go because I don't want any of you to have a heart attack because of the amazing awesomeness of the wizard. Is there any final questions that anyone has?
I have one.
Yes? Oh, the little blonde in the back who continues to taunt the wizard.
I want to know why Mark Gores was your best friend.
Huh? It's complex.
Can I come with you?
No, you can't come with me. When you're out in the stars, there's no oxygen. You wouldn't be able to live.
Why
You
is
can
it
hold
not
this stick.
less?
So, have you all noticed how humble my best friend is?
No.
Nope.
Nope.
I don't even know how to respond to this. I mean, I'm in the presence.
wizard, you know all.
I know, but when you're in the midst of such
Wait a minute.
stupid people.
Wait a minute, wizard. When you said you don't know how to respond to somebody, I think you mean why are they so stupid?
Exactly, that's exactly. There's the presence of such.
I heard your best friend say that.
Right.
He
So,
used it on me a few times. I
how's it,
finally figured out why he said it.
how's it working?
Now I figure I gotta come up with some comeback.
Just a second. So that's a very complex question that I'm afraid if you don't recognize his humility, you would not understand the answer to that question.
So basically, you don't know.
Papa, I'm messy.
Is that your mother?
I'm messy.
I know you're messy. No, the one who just said the wizard didn't know. It's amazing. It's glad I've gotten much better since the last time I talked, because in the last time that I talked, everybody asked me a question. They asked me, do you think you're God? I'm like, no, I'm not God. I'm the wizard, stupid person. Like, the wizard is not God, not even close to God. My best friend, this is where the wizard is. Like, way up here. Okay? This is where the wizard is, way up here. Where is my best friend?
Down on the floor.
Down on the floor. Where does that make all of you?
Below the ground.
Somewhere below the concrete. So,
Wow.
So we're all toads.
Oh, you did turn us into toads. Oh, now I see.
Right, and since you're all toads, you all look at one another and say, I don't see a difference. The reason you don't see a difference is there is no difference. I mean, there is no difference. My best friend,
Tell the wizard he's cray cray.
my best friend does not, he's cray-cray.
Say bad wizard.
So Nancy, she was talking to my best friend over lunch. It's kind of funny because there was discussion about all of the kids and how they weren't eating. Did she share this story with everybody?
No.
Really? Oh, okay. So yes, we were just having a fine conversation, out over there. You might say, you say we. Well, yes, because it's like in many ways, my best friend and I are one. I mean, you might say, wait a minute, that sounds like God, 3 in 1. No, there's only 2. There's not 3. Like, there's 2. Okay, but best friends share things, obviously. Not like a lot of husbands and wives. I mean, I'm not saying any husbands in here would ever do anything like this. But sometimes husbands are not honest with their wives. They're not. They think their wives are silly and not focused, and they use way too many words when they speak. But the husband just goes ahead and nods his head once. If their mouth is moving, your head should be moving, both at the same time. And so Nancy's like, we're talking about that, there's all this, all the kids and stuff. And Nancy said, well, what was it? Something about, well, they're not eating, because they're with their friends. And then my best friend. So one of the reasons that I'm best friend is do you all know my best friend?
Yes, very well.
Okay. But none of you knew how humble he was? Watch the power. Did you see that? Like the power. Like Danny can go ahead and control Alan's mouth to ask a question, and then I can just take Danny and just. This one you can't control. You cannot control this. This one, her wizard's powers are so powerful, you cannot control it. So one of the reasons is he has this amazing sense of, it only works once. No, let him do it. It only works once. Your magic only works once with the wizard. So he has a wicked sense of humor. Like my best friend he's like amazing. Anyways, going back to the story with Nancy, and then Nancy made this amazing observation, which she's very, very brilliant in seeing things that nobody else sees. So if you're not asking Nancy all the time, like, what are you seeing, what are you thinking, you're missing out on a lot, because she sees a lot that she doesn't share. But then my best friend said, something to the effect, you're going to go back and eat now. Oh, you guys don't get the punchline?
I know.
Okay. So the kids were so busy with their friends they couldn't eat. Nancy's going back to eat. So none of you are her friends.
Aww.
Wizard. No. No.
Maybe it was just the person she was eating with.
Oh, was it Mark Boersma?
It's weird how men have learned that you don't mock your mother, but it's okay to mock your father. It's weird on how women have learned, don't ever mock a woman or they are like wolves and they attack you, except the wizard. The wizard likes when there's lots of women around, because man, does he have a heyday with that.
He enjoys the attention.
Of course. Like, that's a silly statement. Of course he does. The wizard is a man. He loves the attention of women. The thing is the wizard knows how to create friendship with people very quickly. by telling them what they want to hear. And then they like him. And then what the wizard knows how to do, in the most charming way, is tell them what they don't want to hear.
Then he vaporizes them.
No, the wizard's never vaporized anyone. It's his best friend that seems to be doing that.
His best friend is the vaporizer.
Right. But he hasn't vaporized anyone in the last 3 months. Interesting, huh?
Because he doesn't care.
He doesn't care. Yes. This is in section 5 of the CPA exam. This is in section 5 of the CPA exam where you learn this type of wisdom, where it's like if you don't care about, if you care at 0%, you won't vaporize. But if you care more than that, well, then they're vulnerable. They're vulnerable. One final question. You guys are getting off the last question way too soon. Way too quickly. Don't go past the last question. I'm sorry. What was the last question? I'm not listening to anyone else. All I am thinking about myself.
Well, you know.
Business sense from everyone.
Oh, that's what you want to talk about? Okay. Well, that. You guys don't want to know anything more about the last question I was asked, really?
I have a question.
Is it about the last question?
No. What does your staff do and why do you need it?
It's surprising. When you look at this, you're like, this is magical. This is just a hunk of plastic. It has no power other than to whack people. I mean, it's got nothing, but it gives you the illusion of power and force. So they think that you could just go and it just blows it. It's an illusion. It's not anything else other
Is
than
that the
that.
wizard too?
What's that?
Just a illusion.
I don't see anything.
Why are you laughing? Oh, that's right. You have social autism. Okay, that explains everything. I understand. Why was that funny? If I'm just an illusion, what does that make all of you? I mean, does this look like an illusion? Does that feel like an illusion? Does that feel like an illusion? It doesn't. I don't know.
Leah's got
All right, let's get back to the previous question.
Wow.
What was the last question?
Do you guys not pay attention at all? Who is the wizard of listening?
The wizard
The wizard of listening.
is the wizard.
Nice. Your wizard has powers are very, very strong. It's Jorge. He said he was.
Yep.
He said he was the wizard, but he's so humble because he's a Latino man, and Latino men are very, very humble. That's why they go ahead. Why are you laughing? I mean, it's almost like you are married to a Latino man. Like,
Yeah.
so, oh, yes, no, what I said is that they give, what I meant is that on a quantum level, they give everybody other than their wife the illusion that they're really, really humble, which is why, people like them so much, yes. But Jorge, if you ask his wife if he was humble, he might have even fooled her. Or she might be, Latino. We're not even going to go there. Okay, the previous questions for all of you non-listeners was, why are you best friends with your best friend? You guys didn't dig into that far enough. You didn't go deep enough.
What is it that you get from your best friend?
No, why are you? I don't get anything from him. I get all of my power from him. I mean, that's a confusing thing. It's everything, it's nothing. So, I could go over there and touch their arm and immediately there would be silence. But their mother would not feel as special as she feels right now. like taking care of that little one and trying to instill some discipline because the wizard's not around all the time, so she must do the hard work of mothering. The wizard can't do everything. So it's complicated, but I will try. Like, his life vision to touch 7.4 billion people in the world, one person at a time, make a huge difference in every aspect of their life in a really fun and exciting way. Like, he's known that for 47 years. I mean, how can you not be best friends with somebody like that? He's put his business, his life, his marriage, his kids, his grandkids, he's put everything on the line. Like, he knows he could lose his marriage and he doesn't want to do that. He could lose his kids, doesn't want his grandkids. I mean, how can you not go ahead? How can you not, like, it's crazy. And he gets stabbed in the back and hurt by so many people. So many people are ungrateful, unthankful, unappreciative. And they don't understand the sacrifices of it. And so how can you not be the best friend with somebody like that? And it's not, like, he's a white male over 50, but he doesn't act like one. Like, he doesn't act like it's the center. It's not all about him. It's not all about, I mean, he's just a nothing. He recognizes that. I mean, he's one of 7.4 billion people on the planet. He's no more important, any less important than any one of the other 7.4 billion people. Like, the things that he's been given, they're a gift that, you know, he works really, really hard and has for a long, long time, but I mean, that's what he was put on this planet to do. He's so thankful and grateful for everything he's been given. Like, when you're like that, when you're willing to give and when you're willing to make sacrifices and you're willing to give and give and give and give and do more and more and more, it's amazing how many people, but a lot of times, I don't know. Questions? Does that help? Anything else? We good? Okay. What time is it? 2:34. Okay. So, have you done your stuff? Okay.